Let's get ready to rumble!
In the battle for showing up at the top of Google searches, do you choose SEO or Google Ads? As a remodeler or custom builder, what should you choose, SEO or Google Ads? I definitely have my preferred choice, which I'll share in a minute, but let's take a deeper dive. First, SEO or search engine optimization. Now, the fancy definition is the process of maximizing the number of visitors to a particular website by ensuring that the site appears high on the list of results by a search engine. Kind of a mouthful. The simple definition, let's get your website to show up at the top of Google searches. That's the goal anyway. We want your website to gain authority in the eyes of Google so that when your ideal clients type something in, they find you. So if they type something in like kitchen remodeler in Colorado Springs, or kitchen remodeling company in Colorado Springs, or some variation of that, we want you to show up first, or at least the top 3. Now, there are over 200 ranking factors when it comes to getting your website to showing up higher on Google. So the topic gets very complex very quickly. Today, we're going to look at some of the important elements of SEO so we can compare it to Google Ads. First up, SEO is all about ranking organically, which means you've earned the top spot in Google's eyes, and there are 2 main benefits to this. The first one is that you don't have to pay for these clicks. You've earned the top spot, and so you're not paying to be there. Sometimes it's called free traffic or organic traffic. The second benefit is that most people click on the organic search results versus the paid. For context, if you're in the top spot, the top organic listing will get 40% of the clicks, and the top ad spot will only get 2% of the clicks. So you could potentially get 20 times the traffic if you're ranking organically number 1 versus paying to be number 1. For additional context, if you're ranking second organically, you get 18% of the clicks. If you're ranking third, you get 10% of the clicks. And finally, if you're in that 4th position, you'll get about 7% of the clicks. Next up, keywords. What keywords are you ranking for? Now, every keyword has different intent, different search volume, and different competition. Let's break those down. First up, intent. If someone is going to Google and they type in something like kitchen remodeling company in Colorado Springs, that has a higher buying intent versus a keyword like kitchen remodeling ideas. Next up, competition. Now, typically, competition and intent are correlated because if you take a high value keyword, more people are going to want to rank for it, so the competition is higher. But that's not always the case, and that's why you want to do extensive keyword research, because sometimes you can find some great high value, high buying intent keywords that have low competition, and that creates a great opportunity for you. Most of the time, they are going to be fairly competitive. As an example, I once spent 3 years trying to rank for one keyword before I finally got it to the top spot. The next factor, search volume. Now, some keywords get hundreds of searches every single month, others thousands per month, and then still some only get a handful. And as an interesting aside, 15% of all Google searches every single month had never been searched before. Overall, SEO involves doing some keyword research and then building an action plan to start ranking for those keywords. Typically, it can take anywhere from 9 to 18 months to really start seeing some big increases with your organic traffic. But it will all depend on the research you did and your action plan and how much effort you're putting in month over month. Let's shift gears to Google Ads, or sometimes called PPC or pay-per-click. We're still trying to show up on Google searches, but through this method, we're going to pay our way. When you look at a Google search results page, you'll see paid ads at the top, and then organic listings will be down below. Google Ads allow you to target the exact keywords that you want to go after and pay for, as well as the exact target areas, so zip codes and locations. For example, you can tell Google that you want to show up when somebody types in kitchen remodeler in Colorado Springs, or you can also say, I want to show up if somebody types in kitchen remodeler, but they're physically located in Colorado Springs. Just like we talked about with SEO, choosing the right keywords is extremely important. And in this instance, since we're paying for every single click, we want to choose keywords that have high buying intent. On the surface, Google Ads are definitely less complex than SEO. However, they're not super easy. It does take time, effort, and energy to set up a campaign and get it running, and it can often take months for that campaign to start performing really well. If you fire up a campaign pretty quickly and without much thought, you can burn through a lot of money very quickly. You'll start driving a lot of clicks and activity to your website, but without many inquiries or leads. As with all marketing, this is your friendly reminder to make sure you have the proper tracking in place for your marketing efforts. So, after looking at both channels, which one is better? Let's go to the judges. Neither is better. I like both for different reasons. Here's my take. I prefer to have super strong SEO because it typically brings in a lower cost per lead and a lower cost to acquire a customer, but it's on a longer time horizon. For example, you might invest $40,000 a year into SEO in year one and get one customer. Then in year two, you invest another $40,000, but you're compounding your efforts on year one, so you get 3 customers. And then in year 3, you invest another $40,000, compounding that effort further, and now you land 7 customers. SEO scales in the sense that all the work you do in year 1 compounds into year 2 and year 3. So your cost to acquire a customer in year 1 might be awful, but by year 3, it might be your lowest cost to acquire a customer. That being said, you can see progress a lot faster with Google Ads because you're paying to get people right to your site. Versus on the SEO side, you can work really hard for months and months, but you still may not see any traffic because people are only clicking on page 1 results. With Google Ads, you're paying to show up on page 1. So if you look at your cost per lead and cost to acquire a customer through Google Ads, it's typically going to be higher, and it won't compound and get better year over year. Typically, click costs just go up. So when you compare it to a multi-year SEO strategy, SEO is typically going to win out in a cost per lead, cost to acquire a customer battle. But if you're looking to scale fast, Google Ads may be the right path for you. You want to make sure that you're tracking those conversions so that you have a good sense of whether you should increase your budget or not. For example, I looked at our conversions and we were spending about $2,000 a month on Google Ads. After we looked at the conversion rates a little more closely, we realized we had an opportunity to increase it. We ran that for a couple months, then we increased it again, and we kept looking at that conversion rate to make sure it held. Ultimately, we ended up at $15,000 a month, so a huge increase. But again, it was all because we looked at conversion rates and you have the ability to just step on the gas and pay for that traffic. However, you can't do that with an SEO approach because you have to earn your way to the top. Both channels play a role in the marketing mix, and each has their own strengths and weaknesses. If you had to twist my arm and force me to choose, then I'd probably pick SEO because I'm a long-term player when it comes to building a marketing machine and businesses. But fortunately for us, we don't have to pick, and usually a mix of both is a good recipe for success. Let me know, what was your takeaway from today's video, and we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.